I'm sure you're wondering why I asked you all here today. Well, that's simple. We're going to defeat the Justice League. Nah, I'm kidding. I have toys to show you. Come on. Welcome back to the Ghastly Toy Crypt. It is the first day of 2024. I hope you had a very happy New Year's Eve, and I hope you have a great new year in 2024. I was going to do this video about a week ago, and then something that I had on pre-order got bumped up by like 2 months. I wasn't expecting it to show up till the beginning of February, and then I got a notification, I think maybe on the 27th or 28th, that said it was getting released early and it was going to be delivered on New Year's Eve day of all days. And I waited and waited and waited, and it didn't show up until about like maybe 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. And I was like, I wanted to give that figure a fair chance at making this list. Unfortunately, it didn't, but that's the reason why this list is just a tad bit late. So I have 10 figures and an honorable mention that I want to go through. And man, I am excited. Also, I want to say this up front. Please, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. I really appreciate all the subscribers. This channel has grown so much in the last year, just from a 40-year-old man going out and doing toy hunts and just sharing his love of toys. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed to this channel. We were trying to hit the goal of 900 subs by the end of last year, and we did. We're up to like 906, 907, something like that. And I can't thank you all enough. So we are just 100 shy of hitting 1K. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, help a man out and hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate it. But like I said, I hope you have a fantastic 2024. Let's get into the top 10 toys that I picked up during the year 2023. So I do have an honorable mention, and I had these originally on my list, but I put them as the honorable mention because I kind of thought it was slightly cheating, because it's not one figure, it's two, but they share a same mold. So my honorable mention is going to be the Transformers Legacy Tarn, as well as the Transformers Legacy Bludgeon. Also, I just want to note, I have a very young cat that really wants to be in here right now. And that's, if you're hearing the meows behind this door, that's what it is. And I love her. I want her to come in and be part of the festivities. She will knock everything down. So I love her. She's fine. She just is really upset she's missing everything. Where was I? Oh, that's right. Tarn and Bludgeon. They both share a mold, and these guys are my honorable mentions because I originally was not going to pick up the Tarn figure, which is the one that came out first at the beginning of last year. And I was going to pass on it because I never read any of the IDW comics. I wasn't really too familiar with the character, but old Punksy said, hey, you should think about getting that figure. It's really good. It's probably one of the best Transformers I picked up in a while. So I, on a whim, I trusted his advice, and boy, was he correct. This figure is fantastic. Not really knowing much about the character, the articulation is great. Probably some of the best articulation you'll get out of a Transformer, which is amazing. And a few months after this figure came out, Hasbro had announced that there was going to be a retool and repaint of this figure for the Bludgeon character. Now, Bludgeon is a G1 character. He was originally one of the pretenders towards the end of the line, probably one of the most popular pretenders. I know in the UK comic books he was a very big character, but I love Bludgeon. I had the original G1 Pretender toy, and I thought he just looked fantastic. And one of the guys I follow on TikTok, I believe it's Trivia Hawk, had dubbed him Fiesta Tarn just because of his color scheme. And listen, he's not wrong. But anyway, these two are my honorable mention. Look at that articulation you get out of this guy. Ah, so good. Anyway, I got way more toys to talk about. I'm going to move on. And number 10 on the list is actually a new toy line that came out this year. You've seen it in the videos from the past year, mainly and specifically from the last two Joe Fest videos. I'm talking about Spiro Toys Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. And my number 10 pick, have chosen Vero Atlas. Now, I am a sucker for a white tiger anything. Again, I've got cats, but anytime I see a white tiger figure, I have to jump on this. So Animal Warriors of the Kingdom has tons of different animals that you can, as warring factions. There's House Feralist, which is all cats and big cats, lions and jaguars and panthers, etc., white tigers. Then there's a bunch of there's apes, there's cheetahs coming out, there's hyenas coming out, just a bunch of fun stuff. And I like I said, cannot turn away a white tiger figure. Also, I was speaking with the creator of this toy line, Jason, at one of the Joe Fests. And it turns out that he is from Lafayette, Louisiana. And I have family in Lafayette. I myself am from a small town in South Louisiana. So I felt like this weird Louisiana's Southern Cajun bond. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm definitely going to support a fellow Louisianan. But let me tell you, I have about 5 or 6 figures from this line. The Vero Atlas, once again, is my favorite. And this toy line is fantastic. They're well made. They're about the $35 price point and worth every penny. The articulation is fantastic. I kind of have him in this nice pose with his staff. And anyway, dude, don't sleep on Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Number 10, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Vero Atlas. Moving into the number 9 slot, this is a figure that I had been looking forward to once it was announced. Even before it was announced, I was always wondering to myself, why isn't there a 6-inch scale representation in figure form of this movie character? And that character is Indiana Jones. This is the Hasbro Adventure Series Indiana Jones. And I do want to say, as of the recording of this video, en route to me, I think it's actually getting delivered tomorrow. I do have the SH Figuarts Indiana Jones coming to me. I found a really good deal on Amazon, I think the week before Christmas. So it's coming all the way from Japan. It's taking forever. But that said, this is a really good figure. I absolutely love Indiana Jones, all of the Indiana Jones films. Yes, even the bad one. Because I feel like Indiana Jones movies are like pizza. It's like, it might be not great, but it's still pizza. Like, anyway, I digress. The Adventure series is a fantastic representation of Indiana Jones, and I absolutely love it. And whenever I got this, I couldn't wait to tear it open. I think I have a ton of other figures from this wave, or this line. Unfortunately, I don't think the line is going to be lasting much longer, which is a bummer. But what I did do is, even though I love the figure, I wasn't 100% happy with some of the accessories that it came with. And Gridiron Studios had an upgrade kit for, I think it was like $25, $26, which came with a wired whip. So this whip is actually very thick wire. It doesn't feel like it's in any danger of snapping, so I can pose it. The pistol that the original figure came with was very flimsy plastic, so it came with a harder plastic pistol. And I think it came with a torch and something else. But really the selling point was the bendable whip, because the whip that came with this figure was sculpted, and you could not pose it in any way. But I believe this was definitely the way to go. So I am going to be very sad when this line ends. However, I think the crew over at Hasbro, who also work on all the other Lucasfilm stuff, the Black Series stuff, did a really good job with this Indiana Jones figure, and man, they knocked it out of the park. So number 9 goes to Henry Jones Jr., Indiana Jones. The number 8 pick is something that really surprised me. It's not something that I really grew up enjoying. Not that I didn't like it, it just wasn't in my wheelhouse whenever I was growing up. And it's something that I have a much better appreciation for as I get older. And also, NECA is just killing it, man. Whoever's working over there at NECA on their design team and their entire crew over there, fantastic. So NECA, if you're watching, keep doing what you're doing because it's fantastic. So my number 8 pick is going to be the Dungeons and Dragons Warduke figure. I know that technically some people started to find this the last week or so of 2022. I did not get mine until I think the beginning of 2023. So I am going to put Warduke on my list. And again, there's something about Dungeons and Dragons whenever I was growing up I just wasn't into. I was much more of a robot guy. I was much more of a Transformers and GoBots and Voltron kind of guy. And as I get older, since the pandemic, I've really gotten into Dungeons and Dragons and just playing some fun campaigns with some friends. And this guy's sculpt is just fantastic. Look at all the scales on the armor here. You have a flame effect on the sword. The articulation is great. Look, and the detail, look at the beady eyes underneath that helmet. It just looks so good. And the other, the wave mate for Warduke was Grimsword. And that figure was awesome too. Man, like again, not really knowing much of the lore of Dungeons and Dragons. Again, I'm slowly learning a lot of it, but man, this is just a fantastic figure all around. So Warduke gets my top 10 list for this year. Or I'm sorry, last year, because it's 2024. I'm going to be doing that a lot. Number 7 on the list was actually acquired through an assist. My buddy Johnny Nostalgia over at Nostalgia Unboxed. If you aren't subscribed to his channel, definitely go and do that. There was a figure that I wanted. It was an Amazon exclusive, and I missed out on it not once but twice. He ended up having one that he wanted to review but didn't want to keep, so he sent it my way after. So Jonathan, again, I really appreciate it. And this one might be a little bit of cheating, but you know what? It's my list and I don't care. So we're moving on. It is the 2-pack Amazon exclusive of the '89 Batman and the '89 Batman Batmobile. This thing looks fantastic. I love it so much. The '89 Batman film is still probably my favorite Batman film today. I like a lot of the other Batman films, but this one I just have very fond memories of seeing in the theater. This one and Batman Returns, honestly. And I almost bought this whenever it was released for The Flash, but I don't know why I held out. I think maybe I knew at some point we were going to get a proper '89 release, so I decided to be patient and play the waiting game. And sure enough, McFarlane released this guy. And again, it was an Amazon 2-pack or Amazon exclusive 2-pack. And I believe this actually has more appropriate paint applications than the Flashpoint Keaton Batman. So the likeness, I feel that the likeness on this guy is actually pretty good. Just the small portion you can see of his face. But it's not every day that you get... don't fall. It's not every day that you get a 6-inch scale vehicle and have it be affordable. Like, I know a lot of like the Star Wars stuff these days that they're making for the 3 3/4 line. Those suckers go for like 100, 120, 150, and at most 200. I'm not talking about the HasLab crowdfund stuff that can go for $500 plus, but just at retail. This 2-pack was only $75. This by itself was sold for, I think, $55 or $60, which for a 6-inch scale figure, that's a really good price these days. So, listen, I haven't taken a lot of photos of this just yet. I just haven't had the time to. But I absolutely love the Batmobile and this '89 Batman. And I'm always a sucker for a cloth goods cape. I mean, it has to be cloth goods because he's got to fit in the car, but man, so good. And I definitely like it a lot better than the Mezco '89 Batman. Yeah, I said it. And moving into the number 6 slot. This is the only Star Wars Black Series figure that is on this list, but it is a fantastic one. It was a May the 4th pre-order release. Didn't come out for another couple of months. It was a Shop Disney exclusive as well as an in-park exclusive. And I have the Star Wars Black Series Galaxy's Edge Doc Ondar figure. This is the first time in the 6-inch scale that we get a Hammerhead or an Ithorian figure. I am very surprised that they went with Doc Ondar and not the Momon Nadan character that we all know as Hammerhead from the bar scene in A New Hope. Now, I love Galaxy's Edge. I love Disney World. I love Galaxy's Edge. I know a lot of people have some hard opinions on it. I love it. The animatronic of this guy in Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities is fan-freaking-tastic. I love it so much. I can stare at it for hours. And whenever the figure came out, I had to get it just because of my love of both Disney World as well as Star Wars. And when I got this figure in hand, I loved it so much because there's not only cloth goods, nice quality cloth goods, but there's also some sculpted goods that go over the cloth goods. He came with a slew of accessories. He comes with 2 little Jedi holocron figures as well as a dirtied up clone helmet. But this guy is great. And listen, I know that the Hasbro crew or the Lucasfilm crew at Hasbro gets a lot of flack for decisions. But man, let me tell you, whenever they knock it out of the park, they really do. I absolutely love this figure. So number 6, Doc Ondar from the Star Wars Black Series. Number 5, we are halfway through our list right here. And number 5 slot will go to 4 Horsemen Studios Figure Obscura, Mask of the Red Death. I was not expecting this figure to be a thing at all, much like all of the other Figure Obscura figures from the wave. The only Figure Obscura I don't have is the Sun Wukong Monkey King, but I've got all the other ones. I've got the Father Christmases, I've got the Headless Horsemans, I've got the Krampii? Either way, the Mask of the Red Death is, oh God, it's beautiful. I can't do it any justice without you holding it in your hand, and the accessories that it comes with is great. It comes with a tall clock, a nice blood stain. It comes with a bunch of different hand attachments. It comes with a raven to go on top of the clock, which is a callback to another Edgar Allan Poe poem. But the quality of soft goods on this thing are amazing, and they're wired. So if you want to go ahead and just make it look like they're just blowing in the wind, you can do that. Like, it's so good. And the 4 Horsemen, God, they are just so detail-oriented. I can't even speak highly enough about them. But man, Mask of the Red Death, fantastic figure. This is also a new buck, and I think this buck is going to be incorporated into their Mythic Legions line for some zombie characters or some undead characters in the future. But take a look at that mask. And also, what I really like about this is you can take the mask off and see what's underneath. I hope you're ready. It is just a giant cavity. Look at that. Ah, man. This is such a good figure, and it definitely deserves to be on this list, or at least my list of top 10 for 2023. The number 4 slot goes to another NECA figure. It is no shock to anyone who's been watching the channel that I am a classic horror fan, and whenever NECA started to do the Universal Monsters, the one figure that I was looking forward to the most was the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, when it comes to the monster movies, Creature from the Black Lagoon is my favorite. When it comes to forms of literature, Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus is my favorite. So this guy is the one that I was looking forward to, and whenever I saw it in the store, I snatched it immediately because look at that nice paint job on this. Those nice gold accents on his green scales give him a nice sheen, as if he has like maybe a little bit of slime to him or gunk to him, as if he is a swamp dwelling creature that he is. He comes with some head attachments and some different hand sculpts, as well as a few different accessories, which I didn't take out of the box. Like, it was already enough to take all of these figures out of the box, but man, just what if this guy just started swimming across the screen? Bloop. Oh, what was that? I don't know. Was it a sea monster? Yeah, it was a sea monster. Look at him. Oh, that's a good picture, actually. But number 4 is the creature from the Black Lagoon. I love these guys so much. I can't wait to get more shelf space at some point in the future so I can finally have all of my Universal Monster guys displayed. Moving into the top 3. This one's going to take me a minute to get on camera because he has a lot of things that can get all tangled and whatnot. So we talked about the figure obscura Mask of the Red Death. My number 3 pick is also a Four Horsemen Studios figure obscura, and that is going to be the Ghost of Jacob Marley. The Christmas Carol is probably one of my all-time favorite stories, and growing up, you obviously watch it during Christmas. And growing up, I just thinking that, oh, it's a Christmas movie, it's a Christmas movie, it's a Christmas movie. It wasn't until I was in my adult life where I was thinking about it. I'm like, no, it's a ghost story that just so happens to take place on Christmas. The two are very much intertwined and play into a lot of actual history of the Victorian culture and how during that time telling ghost stories on Christmas Eve was just a big Victorian tradition. And the ghost stories didn't have to be about Christmas. I think it helped if it did. But when Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol came out, it really resonated with people, and it turned the face of Christmas how we know it. The paradigm shift started. Like, Christmas became more about like the family and goodwill towards man and things of that sort. It's a very important story, and Four Horsemen did a Jacob Marley ghost figure, and he has a bunch of stuff hanging off of him. So here we go. If you have read the book or seen any of the movies, you will know that Jacob Marley is the former deceased partner of Ebenezer Scrooge, and he visits Scrooge one night to help Scrooge see the error of his greedy ways and to share his wealth with those less fortunate, and to not essentially be an old miser. Jacob Marley is, you'll see he's wearing these chains, and the big line, or the famous line, at least in my opinion, is whenever he looks at Scrooge and he says, "These are the chains I forged in life. I built it link by link," and so on and so forth. And he's forced to roam the earth after death with this curse that he didn't know he was putting on himself, bearing all of these sins that he committed by not being a kind human, essentially. But my figure, took a while to get here. I ordered it on the December 2nd. It was shipped on the 8th. It was supposed to show up on December 11th. It did not. It got lost, turned up in Seattle, Washington, of all places, and then it showed up the day after Christmas, which was a bummer because I really wanted to have this in hand and displayed for Christmas Day. But it is okay. It's fine. It's here now. And again, much like with the rest of the Four Horsemen stuff, you get a bunch of different hand sculpts, you get a different head sculpt, you get a bunch of different fun accessories. But I do want to point out something that I didn't realize is if you take a close look, I did know that the boots were made out of translucent plastic to give that phantom and ghost aesthetic to them. I did not know by the photos that the jacket was also cast in a clear plastic and then painted over. But I absolutely love this figure. So far, the Four Horsemen have made 2 figures from 2 of my favorite ghost stories. Jacob Marley, as well as the Headless Horseman. So number 3 goes to Jacob Marley himself from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Ooh. And we are into the top 2. And I'm not gonna lie, the last 2 are going to be Transformers. You guys know that it's my favorite toy line of all time. I have my displays, one right here and the one behind me. I was really excited over the summer when Hasbro was at San Diego Comic-Con and they announced this figure. This is something that I had been looking forward to, and I thought it was gonna be a year off before we got it, but no, it only took a few months. And that is the Transformers Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus figure. I had the one from Kingdom, and I thought that I was a decent representation of Ultra Magnus. I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that you had to piece parts him out to build his trailer when you transformed him. It didn't bother me so much. I had the upgrade kit for it. It looked good. However, you will always get me with a tune-accurate Transformer, and that's what the Studio Series 86 line is. So this is as close to screen accurate as you're going to be able to get. He is a big, thick, chunky boy, much like he is in the cartoon and in the movie. So I like that he is not only taller than some of the other figures, but he is also beefier and chunkier. And not only that, when you transform this dude, you can actually, like the original toy, put the deluxe cars on his little trailer. And I thought that that is such a fantastic play feature. But man, I love Ultra Magnus. And in the movie, he was voiced by none other than Unsolved Mysteries, Robert Stack. Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries, I really need to get an Ultra Magnus sized trench coat so I can take that photo. Anyway, number 2, Ultra Magnus. God, he just looks so good. And he's got light piping. I have to stop and move on to the number 1 slot before I just take up time talking about Ultra Maggie over here. And the number 1 slot goes to Hasbro's Transformers Victory HasLab Deathsaurus. Oh, let me get this big boy over here. There he is, sitting in his throne in all of his glory. I absolutely love this thing. It took a year to get. I backed it in October of 2022. It was delivered to me on the same day that Jacob Marley was supposed to show up. But where Jacob Marley ghosted me, Deathsaurus showed up. So let's take a look. He's sitting in this nice throne, and this throne has storage for all of his accessories right there. We have his little eagle guy sitting up top. But let's take this dude out of his throne and see what he looks like. This dude is fantastic. Oh man, can you guys hear those ratchet joints? Oh yeah, I like nothing a Transformers fan likes to hear more than the nice tight ratchets. His wings are articulated. They go back and forth and up and down. His arms, like his waist, he's got waist swivel, he's got ankle rockers, everything that you would get from a modern Transformer. He even has finger articulation, not individual fingers, but he has finger articulation in sets of 2 fingers over here. And he transforms into a kaiju, I guess, but we all know it's a giant space chicken. It's great. I'll probably try to drop a photo in here if I can figure out how to do that. I'm still editing stuff on my iPad. So number 1 pick for me this year goes to HasLab's Transformers Victory Deathsaurus. I know that 2024 is going to be the 40th anniversary of Transformers, and I have seen some spoilers and potential leaks online of what is going to be offered. I have a sneaking suspicion that there will be a 40th anniversary HasLab for Transformers. I don't know what it is. I can tell you what I would like it to be. There's a couple things I would like it to be. However, I am just really excited for the 40th anniversary of Transformers and all of the fantastic Transformer stuff that will be announced this year. So, yeah, with that being said, this guy, my number 1 pick for the year. That is my top 10 list for this year. What is your top 10 list? Again, drop it in the comments below. I like to see everybody's lists, all the different lines that people collect. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, please hit like, and if you're so inclined, share with a friend. We are on our way to 1K. So by the end of this year, we will be over 1K subscribers. At least I'm hoping we will be. I'm manifesting it. 2024, 1K subscribers. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. See you real soon. Happy New Year. Stay spooky.